Yet God gave us fresh water just about everywhere in the world. For this, we must thank Him. But to genuinely feel and express that gratitude, first of all, we must realize that water is a blessing. This, in turn, depends on thinking. People are so familiar with the existence of water that they perhaps never think about the way a large part of the earth is covered in it. Yet the fact that among all the known heavenly bodies, only the earth possesses water, and especially the fact that this water is drinkable, is a matter of the very greatest importance. The example of water applies to all natural entity, living thing, and phenomena around us, each of which is a blessing from God. Yet in order to comprehend this, we need to ask, what would have happened had things been different, and make the necessary comparison. And along with this, we must understand that God has created the most delicate balances in all things. One of the methods to be used when thinking about the proofs God places before us is to examine and compare entities and phenomena around us. For example, when you cut yourself, or when an old wound opens up again, you know that the bleeding will eventually stop. A clot will form and solidify over the cut, and the wound will heal. This might appear to be an unremarkable process, but if you consider it in a little more depth, you will realize that the clotting process is far more extraordinary than you had imagined. Once bleeding has started, clotting needs to happen straight away in order to prevent the living tissue dying from loss of blood. In addition to this, the clot needs to extend along the entire length of the wound, and, most importantly of all, not to exceed the bounds of the cut. Otherwise, all the creature's blood will coagulate and kill it. Therefore, blood clotting must be kept under strict control, and the clot must form in exactly the right place and at exactly the right time. What would happen if there were the slightest impairment in this perfectly functioning system? If blood clotting happened even in the absence of any wound, or if the clot forming around the wound were easily detached from it. There is only one answer to these questions. In that event, the blood vessels leading to such vital organs as the heart, lung, or brain would become blocked, and death would be the inevitable result. However, apart from serious cases of ill health, these events are occurrences that are quite rare, and almost everyone is able to enjoy a healthy life. We must therefore conclude from this that the human body has been flawlessly created. This system, every detail of which is the product of a separate plan and calculation, reveals the perfection of creation. God, who created us and brought us into this world, has created our bodies with a perfect system that protects us from wounds, both great and small. Let us now continue with another example requiring thought and comparison. Just about everybody knows that flies beat their wings faster than the eye can see. Some small species of fly are able to beat their wings 1,000 times a second. Where does the fly obtain the energy necessary for such awe-inspiring motion, and how does it cope with the heat that such motion gives rise to? In order to comprehend the extraordinary nature of this, please open your arms out wide and try raising and lowering them a few times in 1 second. You will see that you will be unable to perform this action after a short length of time. Now try and imagine the pain you would feel if you raised and lowered your arms 1,000 times. This will better enable us to understand the miraculous nature of the motion that the fly performs throughout its life. This small example is sufficient to show that there is an extraordinary creation in all living things. Even a single fly is a miracle, revealing the flawlessness of God's creation. In the Quran, God calls upon us to reflect on this fact. O humanity, an example has been made, so listen to it carefully. Those whom you call upon besides God are not even able to create a single fly, even if they were to join together to do it. And if a fly steals something from them, they cannot get it back. How feeble are both the seeker and the sought. Another astonishing example in comparison with modern-day technology is the water-carrying system in trees. Most people are unaware that a motor is necessary to raise water up to higher levels. Pressure tanks, for example, are used to raise water to the upper stories of city buildings. Trees also have to raise the water they obtain from the soil up to their highest levels. So how is it that water can be raised as much as 120 meters in some trees, as is the case with giant sequoias? Scientists proposed various theories as to how this process takes place. The mechanisms proposed by those theories that could be proven by experiments are to a large extent regarded as valid. The conclusion drawn by scientists as a result of all this endeavor is the flawless nature of the pressure tank system in trees. This incomparable water pumping system in tree trunks